So this is a continuation of the Mind Your Language series, all about highlighting, discussing words that give us certain ideas and concepts in language and in natural science, and basically showing how these words are used to implant certain ideas or concepts in our heads. So I think the last one we had was level. This is one about the word zero, and also about its use as a natural number. So zero is not a natural number. It does not occur in nature anywhere, and basically it's the absence of anything and everything, so it can't possibly exist. It cannot count as a natural number since it cannot be counted, and if there's nothing there, if there is nothing, then there's nothing to talk about, basically. Now, that's from a natural science perspective. Now, zero, when signifying a decimal shift or in a notation, is certainly important to moneylenders and other special interest groups, but any other symbol would have to work just as well. So using zero in decimal notation kind of introduces us to the idea of zero as an additional number, but it's not a natural occurrence. Now, some might argue that it's highly valued for its use in the binary system, without which computing would not be possible. But the fact of the matter there is that it's just an on and off switch, right? For gate switching in electrical or mechanical circuits. It's not a thing in itself. Now, zero was initially thought to be, a device of the devil, and there was a lot of resistance until, as we said, the merchants adopted Arabic numerals and zero for notation and calculation, so that was how it became more widespread. It's thought to have originated in India around the 1800 AD, and it was a kind of school of thought that laid emphasis on the goal of personal transcendence, and escape from karma through renunciation of the natural world to the going to the full extent of mortification of the physical body. That's now considered to be a kind of dark period of India. It's such a wonderful country and a really rich spiritual culture, also in mathematics and in natural philosophy. I highly recommend looking at Vedic mathematics for people who want to do speed calculations and things like that. But it basically, broke with the usual tradition in India. And it also meant that the structure of arithmetic had to be changed. Up until then, adding numbers together gave you a sum that was larger than the original number. But when zero was introduced, this all, fell apart. So now you can, add two numbers together and they don't get larger, they stay the same, such as 3 plus 0 equals 3, or 3 times 0 equals 0. And then you get the horrible problem when 3 is divided by 0, where logic breaks down, and this is still a problem in mathematics to this very day. So treating 0 as a number has no anchor in reality. There's nothing in nature that can help us. But we do see that because the introduction of 0 came about and was accepted, it allowed also more imaginary numbers and a whole range of numerical and symbolical entities, which had no verifiable concept or any geometric form whatsoever. So the invention of 0 permitted numbers to represent ideas which had no form or had no geometry. And this basically also led to a change in the definition of the word idea, which was previously synonymous with form and geometry. So you can see how the addition of something like 0 negates a lot of the things that were already there before it came. Nowadays, it's pretty indispensable in mathematics, so it's used for a lot of things. But it's also impacted, philosophies, theologies, and changed our views and attitudes towards nature, because 0 is associated, if you like, with a doctrine that negates the reality of the material world. The actual original Sanskrit name for 0, sanya, meaning empty, was translated into Shifra in Latin, which means null or nothing. Now, nothing is obviously something totally different from the word empty. So we see two meanings being confused through a translation of words. Also, the Sanskrit word Maya took on a new meaning. It was originally the power to divide, the dividing mind, and now everybody thinks it, basically means illusion, or that the material aspect of the universe is an illusion, i.e., nature is an illusion. And we see the reverse duality of this in our philosophy as opposed to the Eastern philosophies, where zero is a framework for the development of atheism and basically a negation of the whole spiritual and natural world. In fact, zero was had such a great impact that it basically caused physics of the 18th and 19th centuries to adopt the atomic particle theory, where basically everything's little balls floating in a zero void or an empty void. Yeah. And that's the same bullshit as they talk to us about fake space, as above, so below, and all that shit. But it basically disorientates people and gives them, a different idea of what, nothing and space and void means. Common language stuff. Just rattle through this quick. So symbol zero, denoting the absence of all magnitude or quantity, the absence of a measurable quantity. It's used in temperature, the 0 mark, 0 degrees Kelvin, and things like that. But it also means, something insignificant or a non-entity, or something, small and meaningless and insignificant. Yeah. Whereas, where we can see where this can affect the minds of people. Yeah, so there's kind of things like, 2 minus 2 equals 0. The temperature is 10 degrees above 0. These are the kind of ways that we use it, but a lot of the time it's meant to say zero, zilch, nada, and at the end of the day, the word zero has and its meaning has no place in natural science or in mathematical reasoning. It's only really used in commerce and if you like, this negation of nature or the material world. So not only is it time to reclaim words, it's also time to reject words. If they are not real, and if their sole purpose is to condition us to accept ideas of space and void, or if it's being used, in commerce to facilitate our usury. Thanks for listening.